is KCAL News, Los Angeles.
We remain committed to protecting our students' safety and their right to protest, assemble, and speak freely here on their UCLA campus. Thank you.
Hundreds of UCLA faculty and staff are calling on the university's chancellor to resign over how the administration handled pro-Palestinian protests. Good afternoon. I'm Amy Johnson.
And I'm Juan Fernandez. The signed petition also makes demands about the university's investments and about what may happen to those who were arrested during the unrest.
KCAL's Jeff Nguyen has more on the demands laid out in the petition and how it's being received.
Dozens of UCLA staff and faculty members marched to the chancellor's office Thursday with demands following the confrontations with police and arrests at a pro-Palestinian encampment last week. The LAPD says there were no serious injuries, but volunteer medics say they treated dozens.
Severe head lacerations, facial fractures.
About 800 signatures have been collected on a petition calling for the divestment and disclosure of UCLA's interests in Israel and defense companies. We asked if there's any proof of such ties.
UCLA can answer that question by fully disclosing in a written report within 30 days all of their investments.
Last week's arrest followed a night of violence in which Chancellor Jean Block said instigators attacked the encampment. No counter-demonstrators were arrested, but more than 200 pro-Palestinian protesters were booked the following day. The group is calling for the chancellor to resign, even though he is set to retire this summer.
There would be an acknowledgement that we have rejected his decision to suppress free speech.
We met Israeli-American student Mayan at Hillel at UCLA. She says Jewish students have faced anti-Semitism following the October 7th attacks on Israel by Hamas. And during the encampment, she says, walkways were blocked to classes and her on-campus job.
Really, it's not an inconvenience, it's discrimination that I have to take a different route to get to class, but they've affected my academics.
The library was not blocked. All people had to do was walk a little longer.
Some involved in the encampment, along with the UCLA Undergraduate Students Association, have called for the abolishment of the Israel Studies program.
I think what's most important right now is the demand to take the demands of the encampment seriously, right? For the administration to come to the table and to negotiate in good faith.
If you are trying to eliminate education on a topic because it doesn't fit your narrative, that is erasure.
The chancellor is scheduled to speak to Congress about anti-Semitism on campus later this month. The university has not responded to calls for him to resign. At UCLA, Jeff Nguyen, KCAL News.
To developing news now, the search for a burglary suspect in Arcadia has forced the lockdown of a nearby elementary school.
Yes, Simon editor Mike Rogers is at the desk. And Mike, you just spoke with police. What are they saying about it?
Yeah, Juan and Amy, the good news here is just moments ago, the Arcadia Police Department let us know that they did find their guy. So the scene is now starting to wrap up, and the lockdown hopefully has been lifted at that elementary school. But I do want to show you some video. SkyCal was overhead this very active location. You see police trailers brought out. This was in the area of Michelinda Avenue and Hugo Reed Drive. Now, the police department there tells me they got a recall of a what's called a cold burglary, meaning that nobody was home at the time. It was just a burglary that had been reported. They got there. They believed that their suspect was hunkered down in one of the yards. So with the help of the Pasadena police helicopter, Arcadia police set up outside. You see them here with guns trained on what they believe that home is. And they finally were able to get the residents of that home evacuated and out of there. Of course, some scary moments. As I mentioned, the elementary school, which is just to the right of where these police officers are standing, was put on a precautionary lockdown. You can see they brought Bearcats in as well. Now, as I mentioned a couple minutes ago, Arcadia police did let us know that they finally got that person. Desmond Shaw heard from the pilot of that helicopter that he was actually hiding in one of the garages, which is, good news. He wasn't out running around near the school or anything like that. Now, as we come back out here to the desk, the Arcadia Police Department has arrested that person for, at this point, at least burglary. We're working with them to get some more details, but that lockdown at that school in the area of Michelinda and Hugo Reed Drive has been lifted, and that suspect is now in custody, guys.
All right, Mike, thanks so much. Final farewells today for a fallen deputy who served LA County for 22 years. Hundreds gathered at St. Didika's Catholic Church in Sylmar for the memorial mass honoring Deputy Alfredo Flores. He died last month from injuries suffered during an explosion and fire at a shooting range in Castaic back in October. Deputy Flores is being remembered as a well-respected member of the department and the community who was a beacon of strength to his peers.
Look favorably on these our offerings, O Lord, so that your departed servant, Freddie, may be taken up into glory with your Son, in whose great mystery of love we are all united through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Deputy Flores was buried at the San Fernando Mission Catholic Cemetery. He is survived by his wife, children, and parents.
Well, people working near an Anaheim bank are reliving some frightening moments. Police say last night a robbery suspect took several people hostage, leading to an intense standoff. Those nearby workers now telling KCAL's Michelle Geely what they saw and heard.
Prison parolee Eric Gray, who has a lengthy criminal record, is the man Anaheim police say robbed a BMO bank Wednesday, taking several employees hostage. KCAL was overhead when the last victim was rescued by SWAT officers. Minutes later, 53-year-old Gray was taken out of the branch in handcuffs.
And as I'm walking this way, I'm like going, oh, that's a lot of cops.
Rich Vandermeer had no idea there was a robbery in progress as he left his office, which is in the same building and down the hall from the bank on East La Palma Avenue. Once he got outside, he spoke to a few of the bank employees.
When everything was happening, she took off and was able to get out. So she didn't see, I guess, everything that was happening. She was able to get out of the building. We didn't have a long conversation. It was just like, hey, you guys okay? And they're like, not really.
Attorney Charles Ferrano was upstairs working in his office. He, like many in the building, was unaware of the dangerous takeover happening in the bank downstairs.
The office manager called him and said, do you have people in the bank? And then she said, well, tell them to stay put. The bank downstairs is being robbed.
Paralegal Robin Steele heard from an officer there was still one employee being held in the bank by the suspect.
When I was told that there was a hostage situation, yes, I thought, the poor guy, you know. I mean, we didn't really know anything about it.
10 years ago, when this was Bank of the West, a pair of suspected robbers led officers on a chase after a holdup. The getaway driver crashed a few minutes into the pursuit and died. Gunner didn't want his last name used for safety reasons, but he says he knows the employees at BMO, including the bank manager.
Just such a nice guy, and he's probably pretty shaken up. I'd imagine I wouldn't want to go through any of that.
No one is inside of the bank today. The sign here says that it's temporarily closed. According to police, there were no injuries in this ordeal. But as for Eric Gray, he's facing charges of robbery, kidnapping, and false imprisonment. In Anaheim, Michelle Geely, KCAL News.
Well, new at 4, the high-rise towers covered in graffiti in downtown LA are up for sale.
The Chinese owners of the unfinished development have hired real estate brokers to sell the property. Hilco Real Estate will list the 1.5 million square foot property across from Crypto.com Arena. It has been vacant and unfinished since 2019, 5 years after construction began. The empty property led to problems, including base jumpers and graffiti artists. The city invested more than $1 million to secure the buildings and set up fencing around it. The city is preparing to clean off the layers of spray paint. The sale is subject to bankruptcy court approval.
Well, most of us woke up to some May gray this morning, but the clouds have since lifted, giving way to some beautiful sunshine.
Look how nice it looks out in Long Beach right now. Should we expect more as we head into the Mother's Day weekend, Evelyn Taft?
That's a great question. Well, this is a hint right here. Maybe a little more sunshine indeed as we head into Mother's Day weekend. And of course, we will have the latest on your weekend forecast. I want to get to that May gray. I want to get to current conditions right now, and you will see 68 degrees. We are looking at quite a bit of sunshine at the moment, very mild. And as we check out one more number right here, you will see that humidity is at 61%. So it's pretty dry, and winds coming in at 16 miles per hour. So we are looking at just a little bit of a breeze. And speaking of that May gray, well, we're watching it over the next few days. And as we get a look at what we're watching, slow clearing toward the coast. That was the case today. We could see more of the same, but once it clears, lots of sunshine expected, a quiet weather pattern, minor day-to-day changes, and that marine layer starting to shrink just a little bit as we head into the weekend, leading to warmer temperatures all around. So how much May gray? Well, today was a yes. And right now we're starting to see more days with May gray than not. The question is, will it last? And will it last through your Mother's Day weekend? I'll have the answers, and I'll have your extended forecast coming up in just a little bit. Juan and Amy, back to you.
All right, Ev, thanks so much. Well, adult film actress Stormy Daniels finished her testimony in former President Donald Trump's criminal trial in New York. Before entering court, Trump once again claimed the case is nothing more than election interference. KCAL News reporter Michael George has the very latest from New York.
On the stand Thursday, Stormy Daniels gave more details about her alleged sexual encounter with Donald Trump. The adult film star testified she felt shock and surprise when she came back to the Lake Tahoe hotel room in 2006 and saw Trump on the bed. She called it a power shift because she earlier felt she had control of the situation. The former president's lawyers repeatedly accused her of fabricating the story. "You're making this up, right?" said one defense lawyer, to which Daniels replied, "No."
This is purely and simply election interference. There is no case.
The presumptive Republican presidential nominee once again railed against the charges. He's accused of falsifying business records in connection with payments to his former lawyer, Michael Cohen. Prosecutors say Cohen was given $130,000 to buy Daniels' silence ahead of the 2016 election. Trump's lawyers argue the money was to cover Cohen's legal fees.
This is about, they're trying to prosecute this guy for how something was recorded, and that's all it is.
Florida Senator Rick Scott joined Trump in court Thursday.
This is just pure political persecution.
The next witness on the stand was a junior Trump Organization bookkeeper. Rebecca Minocchio testified she sent checks to the White House about once a week to get Trump's signature. Prosecutors say Trump personally signed 9 of the checks reimbursing Cohen. Michael George, KCAL News.
Coming up, motorhome mayhem.
Flames ripped through a SoCal dealership, torching more than a dozen RVs. Was it intentionally set?
Plus, a miracle on the ice. A pilot is counting his blessings after crashing into a frozen lake. His incredible story of survival.
Yeah, listen to that. Scientists might be one step closer to communicating with animals. How whales could someday tell us about life under the sea. A dream come true for a single mom with 3 kids who's been living in a shelter. Today, she got the keys to her fully furnished apartment. The gift comes courtesy of Holidays Helping Hands. The organization has helped Cindy Guevara develop the skills for living a self-sufficient life, including budgeting, helping with parenting, and job training.
Everybody goes through struggles, and we all go through fire, and it's like, you know, it's not easy, but we have a strong team here. You know, Miss Holiday has a strong team who is like a family, you know, and they really do be there for you.
Cindy says she spent her life in and out of foster care. A voucher will help cover her rental costs. She was also given a camera to help launch her dream of becoming a photographer. Nice. Well, we could be one step closer to communicating with animals.
That's right. Using cutting-edge technology, scientists have discovered sperm whales use their own alphabet. Take a listen. Scientists say those noises are the way sperm whales talk to each other. Researchers with backgrounds in computer science, artificial intelligence, and biology analyzed more than 8,000 bursts of clicks, codas, similar to Morse code. They believe the noises create an alphabet to form what we think of as words and phrases.
We hope that this discovery will help us with whale conservation, as well as with a deeper understanding of our majestic neighbors of the undersea.
Well, scientists say they'd need to collect millions, if not billions, of codas to have enough data to work out what the whales are actually talking about, but they think artificial intelligence could help them make sense of it all.
Nice.
Which would be really cool.
Very interesting,
You know,
right?
you just wonder, what are they talking about? Yeah. Maybe the great weather? I don't know.
I know. They're like, oh, a lot of sunshine coming through, right?
Evelyn Taft did it again. That's what they're saying in coda.
I'll take all the credit. I'll take all the credit. I love it. Oh, but yes, absolutely. They're probably talking about it. We're all talking about it. A really beautiful forecast. It was slow to clear today. A quiet weather pattern, minor day-to-day changes, and that marine layer eventually shrinking. But for now, we're still looking at quite a bit of that May gray.
In Oklahoma, one volunteer is on a mission to spread hope following devastating tornadoes. While many organizations are offering supplies, Paul Chapman is offering hope. A catastrophic EF4 tornado shook the community of Barnsdall. Some people lost everything to the storm. While many have been given food and water and clothing, some are looking for something less tangible. And that's when Chapman decided to take action and offer hot meals with a side of heart.
That's the most important thing is prayer. You know, because this community is going to build together. They're going to come back. They're going to bond. They're going to build together stronger. There's no question about it. And God's right in the heart of it.
Chapman is from Texas and drove nearly 600 miles up to Oklahoma, not once but twice, to do this. He was in Sulphur just last week after a tornado there also left people in dire need.
Wow.
That sense of community is so important right
so
after a
important.
disaster.
What a great neighbor. Well, coming up at 4:30, a fast track to Vegas.
The wheels are in motion for a high-speed train that will connect SoCal to Sin City. The first phase of construction ahead.
And a piece of history in Little Tokyo, the unique finds at this notable shop.
Well, work is already beginning on the new high-speed train that will connect Southern California to Vegas.
Yeah, the fully electric rail line will primarily run along Interstate 15. KCAL News reporter Rick Montanez has more from Fontana.
This is one of the spots they'll be doing construction this week, starting to do their work in terms of land surveying and trying to figure out exactly how they're going to build this brand new high-speed rail system. And their work is going to be in parts of Fontana here where Lytle Creek is, underneath the 15 freeway, and then we're talking about Hesperia and Baker. The new system is called the Brightline West, and it will go right along the 15 between Rancho Cucamonga and Las Vegas. And most of the work will not impact traffic. They're largely doing land surveys, utility potholing, and ground sampling. They are expecting to get this train, an all-new, all-electric high-speed train built in time for the 2028 Summer Olympics. This is what the train is expected to look like. The company says it could reach speeds of up to 200 miles per hour. Brightline already operates a similar but slower system between Orlando and Miami, Florida. We showed it to you from Las Vegas, the groundbreaking last month at the site of the first train station to be built south of the Las Vegas Strip. A 218-mile route will run along the 15 corridor. That is what they have to start getting built. The ride between SoCal and Vegas expected to be about 2 hours. That is half the typical drive time, of course, longer in traffic. A $12 billion project that has about $5 billion secured in federal funding. Now, there may be some night impacts to traffic because of work happening tonight from 9 p.m. until 5 a.m. tomorrow. That is between Ranchero Road in Hesperia down to the I-15-215 interchange. But it's supposed to be minimal impact to traffic, and of course exciting to see work already starting on the high-speed train. Reporting in Fontana, Rick Montanez, KCAL News.
Well, the inhuman brain implant chip developed by Elon Musk's company has malfunctioned. The Neuralink chip was inserted into a 29-year-old quadriplegic patient in January, and it was recently discovered that some of the chip's connective threads retracted from the patient's brain. The malfunction hindered the implant's data, speeds, and effectiveness, but the problem has already been addressed with multiple software fixes, resulting in rapid and sustained improvement. Musk says that the patient can control a computer and mouse with his brain.
Wow. Well, it is National Nurses Week, and did you know there's a museum dedicated to nurses right here in Southern California? We spoke with some nurses who say dedication to their craft is all about helping others.
I think we all get into this profession because we want to help, we want to give back to the community.
The Nurse Museum is inside Dignity Health California Hospital. That's in downtown LA. As you see here, there are pictures and artifacts dating back to the 1970s and earlier, showing the changes in nursing through the years. There are more than 4 million active nurses in the U.S., but there is potentially a critical shortage looming in the profession. The Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates that 500,000 seasoned RNs are expected to retire this year.
Little Tokyo was recently named one of America's most endangered historic places by the National Trust for Historic Preservation. The list spotlights American landmarks and historic sites in hopes of preserving them. KCAL News reporter Luz Delia Caballero takes us inside the oldest gift shop in Little Tokyo and shares the rich history behind it.
Nestled in the heart of Little Tokyo lies the building that once housed Kame Restaurant, which opened back in 1884. It was the first Japanese-owned business in Los Angeles, which sparked the beginning of Little Tokyo. That same building is now home to...
Here we are at Bunkado, 340 East 1st Street.
Owner Irene Tsukada Simonian is a proud third-generation Japanese-American.
Let's see what's in these. Here's the green onion one. See the little sliced green onion.
As you look around the gift shop, you'll find everything from Japanese books, Buddhist altars, retro-style toys, and even a time capsule of Japanese records.
Back in the heyday, we sold more recorded Japanese music than anywhere outside of Japan.
This store is a vision her uncle Tokyo Ueyama brought to life back in 1946.
He had come to the United States in 1910. 1915. He had long established roots here in this community in Little Tokyo.
Tsukada Simonian says he was a very accomplished artist.
He graduated from USC and then went to the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts.
Ueyama traveled all over Europe before settling in Little Tokyo. Then, a short time later,
my uncle, Tokyo, and his wife, my Aunt Sue, were sent to Amachi camp in Colorado along with many other family members. What made the situation tragic and ironic, and it's a situation that many Japanese American families faced, was that my father, their brother, served in the U.S. military at the same time.
And though her uncle was in an internment camp, he continued to paint and taught lessons to fellow internees. When he was released, Ueyama and his wife Sue founded Bunkado, which means House of Culture in Japanese.
This store is the oldest gift shop in Little Tokyo.
And when you walk upstairs, you unravel more of the history that lies within these very walls. Books lined with photos that show their family, dating back several generations.
It represents the perseverance of the family, coming out of camps, starting this up, and then maintaining it for a long time.
Dane Ishibashi is part of the family and says Bunkado has become a sanctuary for Japanese Americans.
At this point, it's kind of just part of the fabric of Little Tokyo.
We're enjoying a boom.
And now this beautiful mural on their building sporting MLB superstar Shohei Ohtani is yet another reminder of how far they've all come.
It's already become a real landmark
in Little Tokyo.
It's just cool that it's still here.
Lustelia Caballero, KCAL News.
Well, up next here at 4, a potentially lethal mail mistake.
Yeah, homeowner stunned by the dangerous packages she received.
Plus, adding to the lovable herd, those famous Clydesdales are expanding their family with a cute announcement. You're a sports mom. Would you agree with that? I just love watching you play when you look at your son's playing.
Yes. I made one mistake once when I told my son, "Oh, it was a good game." He said, "Mom, we lost." I was like, "Oh."
It was still a good game. All right, speaking of games, the Lakers are looking for a new coach, and a Laker legend has an interesting idea on who should take the job.
Yeah, let's check in with Jim Hill now.
All right, here's something for all you hip-hop fans. You can see your favorite artist's bling up close and personal at a new exhibit that opened in New York. It's called Ice Cold, an exhibition of hip-hop jewelry. It features precious items from artists, including A$AP Rocky's necklace, right there, and Nicki Minaj's Barbie pendant.
The president of the American Museum of Natural History said the exhibit is the first to display hip-hop items at the museum and is also in celebration of the 50th anniversary of the music genre.
Look at those teeth, diamond teeth. All right, thanks for watching KCAL News at 4. Our next newscast just moments away on KCAL News at 5 on CBS Los Angeles, Channel 2.
And we're always on KCALnews.com and streaming on CBS News Los Angeles. See you again tonight on KCAL News at 8, 9, and 10.